Now, I am a little bit late and I'm trying to pump these out. I have done your romance house, so if you haven't seen it, please feel free to go and have a look at those videos. And we will have other readings during the month as well as moon energy updates. For those of you that want the extension reads, we do have the Members Hub. You can get, all of the extension reads, all of the pre-uploaded content ahead of time. So if that's something you're interested in, it will be in the link directly below. Now, as for readings, yes, we do have my website directly below if you do want a psychic reading. Now, let's get into the energy of what's coming through for you. Now, the first thing I heard when I was coming live for Libra was it's getting hot in here, which kind of does make sense, Libra, because you are going to be having Aries transit your Venus house this month. So you do have Aries in the Venus house. And I'm seeing for collectively for Libras, it can be quite a passionate time. It can be something where, you're really looking at things. You may, towards the end of the month, feel a bit iffy because we are going to have a full moon in Libra. So, try and ease yourself into it, but you could be changing your appearance. You might be looking at your health. You may be looking at different ways to balance. Mercury retrograde was pretty rough on the collective, but especially because we have Aries and Chiron, you guys over the last few years have really been through the woodworks. Now, moving out of this month, I do really feel, psychically speaking, that you have a good 6 months of leeway where you're going to be moving ahead, moving on up, and things are going to get back in balance. Now, we will have retrogrades coming on about 2 months, and we are going to be having Juno retrograde, which is in the house of Sagittarius, which is the South Node. I'll just have a look. So for you guys, the South Node's hitting your third house placement. So, the way you're communicating, the way you're showing up in the world, all of those circumstances really are changing for you at the moment. You also could be looking at vehicles, technology. I'm warm. So, with the full moon in Virgo, for you guys, Libra, I do feel at the moment you're very psychically tapped in. So you might find that you're having a lot of intuition. You may find you're a little bit foggy at the moment. And it will, even though the moon is transiting and it's moved away from the full moon in Virgo, it does kind of resonate for another 6 months, similar to an eclipse. But it's more that momentum and the actions that we're taking in the weeks coming that you kind of shift those circumstances around. Feel free to tell me. What would you like to tell me? So the Virgo moon, number 1, it will be very psychic in nature. You also may find that during this circumstance, so you may be drawn to the circumstance, in a sense, from a psychic nature, that you have some ideas as to what you want to do. Cool. At a very separate level, I feel as you move forward, your romance house is quite lit up, but this will be anything to do with your work, to do with the people that you're dealing with. Now, it can go 2 ways for you guys, Libra. You had your 5th house activation, and that was during Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde, it was very unique in a sense because it was the first time both Saturn and Jupiter were there. So for everyone collectively, potentially around mid-January, all the way through till the 13th, because we do have Mercury in shadow at the moment. The third eye is very activated. Your thoughts may be very foggy. You may have a very busy mind, and you're really guided to document and have, take notes as to the ideas that you're having at the moment, especially if you're attempting to finalize tasks, get things done. It's going to be easier if you have some sense of schedule. If you can achieve that, you'll probably find it may be a lot easier after the 13th. So it can become more busy in shadow effect. You might have circumstances relating to creative endeavors, really wanting to go out and socialize, as well as, how would I put it, trying to get your health in order. And I'm seeing a lot of you may be changing your diet up. You may have had sensitivity to food. maybe felt quite stagnated in that frequency. And I feel you're really guided to, especially because by mid-year, we are going to be having Jupiter retrograde into Pisces, which does link to your 6th house placement. Some of you may potentially be having situations with pets come up. Pay attention to their behavior and circumstances to that degree. And very separately, what you may find is tuning into, if you want your hopes and dreams to happen, be it's of a social nature, be it's of a balance level inside your life, what steps you're going to have to take to actually shift those things around. Now, some of you may have had situations occur with children, maybe some misunderstandings connected to a romantic interest. As we move away from the shadow phase, you may find that more communication can come in. A lot of you also can be having a lot of dreams relating to the past, ideas, insights. And you may find that, I have to say it, hauntings, so to speak, can be coming through to a degree. Back to the channeling. Anywho, so what I'm seeing happen, let's have a look at some of these areas, Libra. Number one, if you have had obstacles and there have been a lot of responsibilities on your lap, so to speak, the alleviation of Taurus can be coming off your back, so to speak. So if you've found you've had a lot of things that have been quite emotionally taxing on you, maybe a lot of expenses, you may find as you progress forward, what you need to leave behind and what you're changing and the steps you're taking are going to make the world of difference. Some of this can be relating to debt. Some of it can be relating to really trying to create a foundation that you can have something to look forward to in the future. March is one of those months where, both from an astrological point of view and a psychic point of view, I'm seeing that these are really, really important steps. And not necessarily do we have to initially implement them right away. It's more at an esoteric level where psychically tuning into what all that Mercury retrograde meant, how we can directly implement it, where the problems were, where the fallacies were inside of circumstances. And I feel by having a little bit of a break, getting grounded, really keep your fluid up, because you have 12th house activated. So, yes, you will be very psychically attuned, but you can be more prone to psychic attacks. So restlessness and fogginess due to Mercury energy is there. You can protect your room, and very similar to doing a crystal grid in your room, putting crystals inside your bedroom, smudging it. Now is a real great time, between the Virgo full moon that we had and moving towards the new moon in Pisces. It's very important to actually rest, pay attention to your health, get some sense of balance, but get rested. It has been very difficult for many people to sleep or even function cognitively. So, sometimes we can feel almost like we're falling into the dark night of soul energy. We can be depressed due to fatigue. Changing diet up, changing the way you're dealing with circumstances, not over stressing yourself, and resting when your body's requiring it within, ability to as such. You will find that will alleviate some of those circumstances. I do feel as we move towards the 13th, your clarity will come through very firmly, and most of you will be feeling a lot better in nature. Let's have a look. Some of you, there can be some beliefs that you're holding inside yourself. And I do feel some of you are feeling very angry at yourselves, but it's not that it's necessarily that you're aware of this. It may be because of reflection you're doing. Maybe you have an expectation on yourself that you need to be somewhere. Maybe you have an expectation of how something should be. But it's funny because I feel initially it might have been looking at as an external situation, but I feel as the weeks progress, it's not necessarily that it's not, but it's what you can do on your side of the fence that I feel psychically I see you actually tuning into. And I think at that point it will be where it's almost like don't get mad, kind of get into it. And that's really what I'm seeing. I'm seeing you actually have a bit of a shake up and go, okay, I'm going to take the bull by the horns. You may see some momentum, especially when it does come to creative endeavors. Some of you are tidying house, changing things around, trying to get things organized. Some of you, let's look at the fourth house. Yeah, there can be a lot of circumstances that there's repairs needing doing. It's wear and tear on the home. It might be things changing about, as well as you're trying to create that firm foundation, but you're under the understanding of compartmentalization. What do I mean by that? It's like whose role is what. Very important to, especially in each Mercury retrograde, I would strongly advise, especially when Pluto goes retrograde, if it's happening around the time of Mercury, pay attention to having a little bit of money in the bank. And that's due to the fact you do have Capricorn in the fourth house. So you may find that you're having to do a lot of repairs for things or, updating. It could be devices. It might be your technology. But you're having new ways in changing the home around to make it work for you. I do feel for some of you, let's have a look at your 8th house. Okay. Yeah. If you've been trying to dig through the paperwork and really, try to get money in order, try to, have some luxuries for yourself, and that was really unmanageable. Some of you, it may have been, during Mars transiting Taurus, that your health to a degree, it was like eating on the run or, appetite where it was shifting and swapping. So it's almost like too much of a good thing, but I don't think in general it was on purpose. I feel the stagnancy energy, frustration, and especially from a spiritual blockage point of view, I'm kind of seeing you guys sort of in the mid region between solar plexus and sacral chakra. It's almost like a adrenal energy. I do see that coming off. I see, as we have Mars transit over to Gemini, it will be more active. And I do see a lot of you becoming very active as the month progresses. You do need to be quite wary as we move towards the full moon in Libra. And I would strongly suggest you practice self-love. And that's because during that transit, which I will be doing a moon energy relating to that. And what you can do with the moon energy videos, the way I've formatted it, I've done a new template. You can stream forward, stream back, look at sun, moon, rising, and you'll get the kind of notion of what can be coming up. And I will tune into that yet again psychically closer to the point. There's sort of an energy coming through where some of you, romantically speaking, don't expect something. And this is couples, singles, and in between. It's almost like there's a bit of a shift. And I really don't think this is what you're expecting. And I really mean that quite, yeah, I don't think. I think you might have an inkling, but no, my guides are showing me it's polar opposite to what you're thinking. You will legitimately take this as quite a surprise. Now, this could be an intuitive feeling. This could be your contracts really bouncing off the ground and doing great. As long as you can actually look at that shadow effect and you've worked on that, I think it's because you purged a connection, like a viewpoint of control. And it's sort of like you're not paying attention and this situation then comes out of nowhere. Now, however this be, I really do think it's quite surprising. What do they mean by surprising? Is this... It's not something you would traditionally expect. I don't think it's a bad thing. There could be information surrounding that circumstance that takes people by surprise. But there's also, because I think it's a chain of events. I don't think it's one thing. I think on that day, you'll actually not, you'll probably, I'm pre-warning you now, you'll probably know when this is happening because you will have quite a few surprises on this given day. And it's really like this energy's coming in. It's either a job offer or, you know, bang, you look at your bank account and your money's rolling in. It's something quite surprising that's really out of left field. For some of you, I do feel you may hear from someone at a distance, and it's multiple people. There's almost energies coming towards you. Some of you are actually tuning into, okay, where's the island? You know, really wanting to go to the island. It's like you're kind of tuning out of all the white noise. You're tuning out of anything that really isn't serving you. You know, you're wanting some, you know, you're wanting quiet. You're wanting fifth house, which is, you know, to be able to sit back, have a little bit of enjoyment, things not be so serious. And I think as the weeks progress, I'm seeing you almost going up levels, and it's a good thing I'm seeing. You know, your energy levels are coming back, you're getting your health in order, you're ticking boxes relating to the things that you're wanting to invest your energy into. And then as it progresses, it's almost like I see you even looking further in life, which does make sense. Let's see where Sagittarius is. Third house. You have big plans. Like, these are the small steps you're taking. It's almost like you're saying to yourself, some of you could be looking at your vehicle and thinking of changing it. But I think it's almost you're looking at the small steps you took and what's a potential now. And it's like you're having a logical transformation. Maybe some of you felt you had to stay where you were in order to have that growth. But some of you are looking outside the box and you're looking bigger. And hopefully it's not like, yes, we have to be careful by mid-year because Jupiter's moving into Pisces. So, you know, even from a psychic perspective, when we are taking on too much as the scales, we can become imbalanced. Now, Pisces is going to be transiting Jupiter. So, you know, we kind of got a 101 with Mars and Taurus transiting because the second house was activated. It's second house to a degree collectively. So overeating and things to that degree can come up. You're going to find with the nodes in Gemini that plus Mars moving in, you're going to be more active. You're going to want to be more social. Yes, there's going to be rampant gossip around. So you've got to watch who you're talking to, what you're saying. Try not to take things personal. Take things with a grain of salt, but it can be a month of information. I do see you to be more busy. But it's almost like I feel Libra's really sticking to their lane and making really major decisions. And I feel this excitement energy. And it doesn't feel, and for some of you, it can be connected to another. But to me, the way it's coming through, it's you vibrationally are changing. So, you know, through that vibrational shift, it sort of feels you're making some extended plans. You're looking at the bigger picture and you're like, with X, Y, and Z, be it here, be it not, how do I see my future moving forward and how does that all look? And I see you just doing that. Some of you may be looking through brochures. You might be creating a vision board. It may be thoughts going through your mind. You might be looking online at the internet and having some creative ideas. Some of you, this is a physical holiday. You may be very firm on your spiritual beliefs as well and want something traditional. Don't know what that means. But something that comes up this month might put you through quite passionately. Some of you might do, what's the word? Something charitable. It feels like you're going to do something charitable. I'm seeing some of you, there's a man, you know, it's sort of like this, and this will be particular groups. It may be somebody you see on the street. It kind of triggers the chain of events of how you can be both productive and you can help. It could be an analogy, or it may be that you're giving to someone that's homeless. Let's have a look. What else am I seeing? Situations relating to children can be changing, but it's also, if you had quite a horrendous month and there was conflict relating to that, some of you, it was very select. It was very particular as to what that area was. But I do think during the retrograde, you'll probably find the last 2 weeks of it was heaviest for you. And it can potentially amp up, but you do need to psychically protect yourself. Your dream state's coming through very strongly. You may find that your love interest or a person from the past, it's sort of like you'll start dreaming very radical, interesting dreams. Sometimes people that come through in our dreams can come through in different people's faces. It sounds odd, but they can. So, tune into that. Are you seeing the direct person? Or are they tapping into your energy and seeing maybe decisions that you're making, and they're giving you an IE of it, so to speak, of how you would directly feel? But they're actually tapped into that reality of what you're thinking on. So, that's the deal. We're very much telephones energetically. We have to be careful what we think. I swear I got a bug on me. I've been connecting with Mother Nature again, tuning into Libra. Number 1, I do see dress sense changing by April. I feel some of you are a little bit nervous. There can be this, and I feel it's funny because it's near the new moon, but it's moving towards the Libra moon. It's sort of 2 to 3 week mark. It could already be coming through. Some of you are feeling a little bit nervous, but it's like no sooner do you tap into that, do you tap out? And I don't mean tap out and walk away. I mean psychologically you're looking at it and then you're going, that doesn't serve me. Stop thinking that. And I do feel you're being quite disciplined with your thought process. Any questions while I'm tuning in further? Business growth I see moving. I would strongly say, at an intuitive level, if you need to do chops and changes, please continue to do that through the year, especially when it relates to paperwork, documentation, moving things around, not getting scared that, you're not going to have those resources, that you won't be able to achieve those. Being that we've had some spiritual tests January, February, I feel if you look at that information, you don't sweep it under the carpet and you start taking direct action. I do feel between now and June, it should really, really help you be prepared. And I do feel subjects relating to, okay, I've got to tune into that a bit more. Yeah, that's further down the track. I'll leave that. That's towards the end of the year. It's still fluid, so it can shift. Anyway, how are you, True Heart? I had an interesting person jump on. It's that time, right? So what time is it where all of you guys are? I've been noticing the feed hasn't been working either. What else am I seeing in the chart? Number 1, I would say the day after the new moon in Pisces, be careful. There can be an expansion on the 13th, and really, especially if you're really changing your diet and doing things, 11:20. You're up and in it. Is it going to go well? Let me have a look, my love. If you follow the book, you got Capricorn on the 4th for Libras. We do have Mars transiting from Taurus over to Gemini, but we're also going to have, let me have a look. I would say by the time we have, let me explain. When's the date? Let me have a look. How long has this been going? Number 1, it'll be past the 13th, but things are going to come to you faster, especially because we do have Mercury kind of in shadow till about the 13th. We have the new moon in Pisces. Now, Venus energy, especially relating to contracts, money, I've looked at your placement for that. You look at the 2nd and the 7th house. So we're going to have Venus transiting into Aries. That can be a very beneficial time for it. You know, if you're wanting to, it depends on the date that the hearing is, etc. And again, I'm not a legal representative, but I can tell you the aspects via astrology. It will be at the critical degree point. It's going to be at 23 degrees. Let's have a look. No, it's going to be at 8 degrees. Still critical. So the full moon in Libra, the shadow sign is both from a justice point of view and the other side. It's going to close the cycle out potentially. It's at the moment, from what I'm looking at, it does look positive, but that's potentially why psychically I was saying, you know, try not to get too scared towards what you physically have, what your actions were. As long as you've done all you can, try and just accept transformation and trust the process moving forward, especially from a growth point of view, because you do have really benefiting placements. Very separately, you know, if this was to lag on, so to speak, and it was taking quite a while, you know, Pluto retrograde could actually bring about more information. So you're kind of lucky that it's not there as yet. I'll leave it at that. But 6th house is the house of hidden enemies. So, you know, make sure that you've done everything by the book. Your health can come down to that. So be protective of information. Like I said, don't share things. Don't allow anyone to let on what the circumstances are. Just, you know, communicate professionally, and the rest is what it will be. But yes, 6th house is to do with work environment, your health, your routine. You know, Libras at the moment have Capricorn there. So it might have been a bit of a burden, you know, to be dealing with that. And it's very Pluto in nature. So yes, it should be coming to a head. Any idea on the plan from... I need to know their zodiacs. Let me tune into it. At the moment, no. I think with Mercury, things should speed up, but it's the big plans and things to that degree. So I think it's a bit more delayed. I'm saying 3 days, and then there should be some forward movement. But at the moment, I'm saying 3 days. 3 days. Which is kind of interesting because technically Mercury's in shadow, you know, and we can be more accident prone, you know, with the nodes being in Gemini. So be really careful. I mean, social events and things to that degree, I would be super careful of. Communication, you know, media related, but it's more in the movement sense. We can be more accident prone. So, you know, it's almost having too much on your plate. You need to be careful that you actually pay attention to the things you're doing, because pretty much between now and 2022, yeah, 2022, had to be like, what year are we in now? Good grief. We can be more accident prone. Yeah. And, you know, the circumstances with the new moon of Pisces are going to give you a bit of insight around that moon, what it's going to be like and how to grow that area of life by the time we have Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. And it's going to give you a bit of themes about what's coming up in 2022. But it's definitely 6th house. So if, you know, you're wanting to shift your career around, grab the bull by the horns, get your diet in order and health, you know, get that balance. Be careful of your eating habits. You know, go to the doctor if you need to go to the doctor. Just pay attention to yourself and look after yourselves during these times. But also you know, getting things done and not overburdening yourself, paying attention to your emotions, not letting them build up to a point it's affecting you, especially from gut related. It is Mars and orientation. There can be inflammation and things to that degree. And again, throat chakra can be coming up due to the fact that we've got, you know, Mercury in shadow, the North Node in Gemini. So for Libras collectively, You know, be it you do guided meditation, eat the food groups, you know, keep your vitamins up, so to speak, and do things that you feel are correct for you. You can do, you can have the smoothies for the Mercury, but it'll be third eye, throat chakra that can be coming through. Yeah, and even higher heart chakra. Yeah. Yeah, but the relevance of the Virgo moon will still be there for a good 2 weeks. And it is, you know, with what you were letting go of back there at an emotional baggage level and looking at what you needed to change, either in mannerisms, attitude, 3D or more, that in the next 6 months is going to look different. So, you know, obviously if we acknowledge it, then don't do anything. Yes, very karmically, it will come up by the next cycle. And it's almost like leftover schoolwork. So, you know, to a degree, it's really important to actually have a look at that and shift those things around. Some of you can be doing a lot of research to do with spirituality, maybe looking at auric fields, you know, people's value systems. You can be doing a lot of research into that, and maybe even looking at doing courses, upskilling. They'll more be at a very temporary level. It's probably better from an astrological level, if you were going to do something, invest in it only as short courses, not necessarily an extended version. But they're also, for those of you that have children, there can be subjects coming up relating to, you know, students, children, the teachers, social activities, and this can even be birthday parties, planning and things to that degree. You're a dog. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I need to make a phone call. The next one I'll do is either Aquarius or Gemini. I'm pacing myself. It's hot as hell in here. Okay, see you soon. Tell me how it relates.